So this is the multipass effect, the code for it. It looks like a normal kernel up to this point, where you say what kind it is. It's one using a texture. Well, I guess it's not even using a texture, but and it has, you give it a name. And this is the difference between a normal kernel as we've seen so far, a shader that we've seen, and a multipass. Here we have nodes, which say the steps in the process. You tell it what the final step should be, so that's your output. And then at each step along the way, you tell it what effect it's referencing. In this case, it's using the built-in blur Gaussian, where the input should be coming from. And we do the same thing here. This is using, in effect, we define up above. And the input is coming from the previous pass. So this will be a two-step effect. And actually, I think it's a four-step effect because Gaussian is doing the same thing under the hood. It's using horizontal filter followed by a vertical filter. So you can really compose these quite a bit.
Would it be fair to say that if you understood the combined effects of different, I'm trying to say this right, if you understood the performance or the combined effects of something, would that affect your decision as to how to combine the different effects? I don't know if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like you're saying that there's maybe some overlap there. Is there a way to like look at something and say, oh, well, I don't want to definitely combine these two things because they're duplicating effort?
Right. I think. So I don't know what decisions they made when they wrote Gaussian. I think it's what's called a separable filter, so it can be broken up into two steps. And maybe they just did it because they didn't want to do the work twice. Or maybe it was just because it's a little easier to write separately and then put them together. But definitely if you knew something was fairly inexpensive, then it would be a no-brainer. Just use what you already have. So you don't have to rewrite it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you see these types of things in other data processing, right, where you maybe pull back a bunch of records from the database, and then you have them, and then you kind of unpack them, but you don't want to necessarily have to flip through them again because you've already done that once, right? So you just sort of look for ways to be more efficient.
Like Etta has said, I'm lazy, I don't want to do it again. It's the same thing in shaders.
Okay.
So finally, this is the vertex is what's shifting the position around, and I didn't have to, but I baked in the size. I was experimenting with some other things that would have required more input, and they didn't work. So I still have this, which is like in the glass example where you have a hard-coded size. They combine into a string and then get baked. And like before, this is just finding, instead of the position on a circle, it's the direction from the center. So basically subtracting the position on the circle from the center to figure out a direction and shifting a little bit in that direction. And then I said, well, you could do that on the Lua side, so it's not really that impressive. And I'll just add some color in. That's why it's glowing like that. So there is something in GL that lets you get the screen coordinates, and I just scaled those by the size of a pixel, basically. So the screen position is being used to calculate the color, and it actually remains fixed as this is rotating, but there's a little blinking going on too from the angle.
So you just said something that I want to highlight since we're kind of right there. You said that you could accomplish that in Lua, so that that piece wasn't all that impressive. So correct me if I'm wrong if I say that the starting point on these types of things would be to go and look at the built-in filters that are already provided in Lua. In Corona.
Right.
And then say, does this do what I want to do? And then look at, okay, well, how do I modify something like this in Lua to do what I want to do? And then if you further can't accomplish what you want to do, then you would wind up getting into some of this more advanced stuff. I don't even know if that's advanced is the right, but some of this more core stuff to shaders to be able to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Right. If all you needed to do was move the shadow around a little bit each frame, then this isn't very demanding. It's just that you literally just move the position. So, but and I realized that about as I was somewhere midway through, and I said, okay, well, if I'm gonna, I should probably add a little more to this just to show.
But I think that's a good concept to grasp onto, is that there's like you've talked about before. There's the shader specific things that are common across all different platforms, right? All SDKs, all different languages, all different whatevers, right? There's just those concepts that are just shader concepts, and then there's more specific concepts that are like, how does Corona implement this, and what options do I have to be able to tweak, sort of thing. So
right. So there's that, and there's do I even need a shader? Can I do this with Graphics 2.0 already, or when do you need to take the plunge? And it's at some point it's just you get a feel for it. I don't know if there's any hard and fast rules, but
there's no flow chart that says if this then that.
Not that I can think of, no.
Hey, Stephen, could you
Yes.
share your code again, please?
Oh, sure.
Now that you did
You're the waitress that just, hey, how's your meal?
Can I take your plate?
Mhm.
Okay, what are we looking
Okay,
at?
on line. Okay, whoa, stop flipping. All right, on line 46%,
Okay.
that bit right there. Where? How did that? What is that? That's not Lua.
That is Lua. Okay, this is unrelated to shaders, but
This looks backwards to me. It looks like a
The-
string format call with no string.
it is a string format call. It's the string table, or the string type has a meta table. A few years back, somebody named Joshua Jensen, he posted to the Lua mailing list, hey, I have my own branch of Lua and I added meta tables on types,
Mhm.
and I found it really useful. And they accepted this into Lua. So every type can have a meta table, except for tables, because they have individual meta tables. And strings have built in as a meta table the string library. So you can call methods from the string library on a string.
Okay.
And the parentheses are necessary because of the Lua grammar.
Wow.
Because the way
It's blowing my mind, though.
So basically, it's just a string dot format with
I gotta try this.
first argument and this is second argument. So
There you go,
Oh,
Ed.
where am I
There's
using it? I don't know.
there is something to blow apart your whole week.
Yeah, that's the problem with this hangout. I always get stuff from you guys. I'm like, oh, good, that's interesting. I'll go look at that. What was I supposed to do? I don't remember, but I'm gonna go look at that thing now.
and the
thanks.
percent dot two is just 2 decimal places. So that's just a
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. I understand it's just that the order in which I'm seeing the code is very bizarre to me.
okay.
Yeah, because you can see it's just concatenating that together and then concatenating on the other end, and but the other piece is confusing. Yeah, I figured it. I figured everybody else understood it except for me, so I didn't say anything.
Any other questions on this, or
No?
Yeah, anybody on the panel got a question? Yeah. Oh.
Right.
All right. Barry's out.
Barry
Barry's
had no
Barry's here.
questions, so dropped himself.
Yeah, right.
We'll pop back once it's done.
Okay,
Something
well-
for his lunch.
Well, excellent. Did you say you have some shader examples or some links that you want to share with us?
the same repository I used way back in the coroutines example. I've added another directory for shaders in there.
Okay.
So I do have most, if not all of them in there. All my links are right now in a text file, so they're not very pretty, but they're there.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll link to that in the show notes. So if you guys are interested in seeing and getting access to the code that Stephen was showing us, then you can download that there. So check the show notes.